you're both Colorist Society International members. Perhaps start off by giving your reasons for why you think the society is a good idea and why you both chose to join.
Walter, you
Mark?
want to start?
I start.
You start.
So I think in the last 20 plus years, colorist each one of us did his own thing, and it was great. Today, there is a community. There is several hundreds, if not thousands, of color around the world that work constantly to make every single content you can see on a screen. The pandemic hit. Everybody's looking to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, you name it. There was a colorist behind all of this. So I think we are at a point where we need a cohesive group that will bring us at the point where, hey, we want to be recognized. We want to talk to the academy or to other organizations and say, we don't just push button. We actually try our best to add an artistic intent to the photography in collaboration with director of photography, the production in general. So to me, CSI is the opportunity to bring people together and build a movement, if you wish, and say, we are here, we want to be on knowledge. Where do we go with that?
I second that. Yeah, well said. And I joined for the same reasons Walter's talking about. It's a fine line. I've never, I don't want to step on the toes of cinematographers. None of us colorists do, but at the same time, we are an artistic team player in getting the look that they want. And so I just feel like there's got to be more of a breakout. Like, for instance, the directors and DPs know how important our job is, but I think the rest of the industry should be educated as to how important, our job is to the final look of the film, and how exactly it's we're the last to put a touch on it. So.
Yeah, I of course agree, and I think that's the key, is to emphasize the creative part of what we do. There is a technical part as well, and I think a lot of the other people in post-production and production like to focus on the technical side of it, and it's the creative side that we really need to push forwards, I think.
Yeah. Kevin, may I ask, how is your battle going with getting us more recognition on like IMDB, things like that? Is that still an uphill battle?
It is. Well, not an uphill battle. I mean, in phone calls with them, I'm going to put the link here in the chat for everybody to. I hope that it can actually. Yeah, okay. There it goes. So this is the it's quite a long link, I'm afraid. So this is a petition that we have running with IMDB to create a colorist department in IMDB. And the problem there, as Mark alluded to, is that if you're trying to find a colorist, who graded a film, it's almost impossible, because it could be in cinematography department, could be in editing, could be in visual effects, could be in any one of these categories. So we spoke to one of the very early tasks of the CSI was to talk to IMDB, and in conversations they agree that it needs to be done. For them it's a lot of work though, so it's a question of the loudest baby gets the first attention, really. Now the petition that we're running is the biggest petition they've ever had, so we're in the running for this. But yeah, we just need to keep pushing, and the reason it takes time is that they can't just create a new category. They have to somebody has to actively trawl through and find all the colorists that are spread out through these different departments and put them in the correct department. And so that requires a software team, it requires web development. There's quite a lot of work and money involved, actually.
Oh, interesting.
But it is going forwards, and as I say, I spoke to them just recently, and they are strong supporters of the CSI. In fact, they're giving us another year of discounts next year. So they want to keep us happy. They want to keep us friendly.
Oh, good.
And CSI members also, when you do get credits on IMDb, you can choose Colorist Society as an affiliation. And that is recognized on there, and that will make it easier when the category comes to get everybody moved over into the color department.
Yeah, if I have add on top of what you're saying, we as a colorist should actively go in IMDb, be sure that our credits are correct, that we are credit where is due, that our name and association at this point is correctly put. I want to integrate with you. As you can see, I'm also a member of the Academy of Motion Picture and Science, and in the last few years, they started to acknowledge that our contributor is not merely technical, but it's artistic. So we can now join the Academy. How we join the Academy? You need sponsorship. So Todd, director of photography and director that work with you, talk to them and say, would you like to sponsor me for an Academy membership? So I think the CSI, with us, member of the Academy, we can create a critical mass and say, we exist. We do what we do this artistic contribution. So the rules are pretty simple for the recognition of the Academy. You just need a certain amount of work done that can be proven, and to sponsorship. And the best one for us, Mark, it's literally your DP. Find your DP, ask somebody that it's a member, and say, would you like to sponsor me?
Okay, yeah, I was curious.
And everybody out there, please go to IMDb. Please put your credits where they are due. Don't cheat on it. Just the fact that I see, for example, old movies, Cleopatra. There are 20 colorists because each one that does a new version try to put himself in. No. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
But if there is a new movie, a short, anything that you worked on, there is an IMDb, be sure it's there. Add your CSI affiliation. Build from, if one of us has to correct those lines, it takes us hundreds of days. But if each one of us, 1,000 of us, will do one line a day, we can actually progressively build the IMDb.
And I'm going to add, sorry, real quickly, I'll add to what you said, Walter, too. Yeah, be honest on your IMDb, because industry can find out. If you just color the trailer of a big feature film, but you don't state that it's the trailer and you're saying you colored that feature film, the industry is going to find out, and then you're not going to work. So make sure it says trailer colorist of that film. Just be specific and be honest about it, because people will find out anyway.
Well, the other thing, IMDb is very proactive in checking credits as well. So once they find that you've cheated on one, that becomes a problem for everything. Yeah, no, they're very careful.
Good to know.
Go ahead.
Walter, do you want to talk a little bit about the Academy too? Because one of the issues with the Academy is there isn't a color department there either. I believe you're under miscellaneous, or sorry, members at large.
Members at large. So I think the breaking point that finally allowed colorists to be recognized at the Academy was the Revenant, but not because of the Revenant, but because of what happened at the Revenant itself. Lubezki is one of the most amazing cinematographers now and probably all time, but he spent so much time to just fine-tuning the photography in post, basically. And the question that came up is, there is somebody, actually there were more than somebody, it was a team of 4 or 5 colorists, literally with minutia do all this work for all this day, and it's not anymore technical, like we were saying. So at that point on, the Academy say, well, we should at least allow colorists to join. I joined, I think we are at 15 now. Mm-hmm. And we're still a blip in the radar. We are nobody. Let's be honest. 15 people in the Academy of one particular category is nobody. My dream, because it's a dream at this point, is to have more of us there. And when there is enough, simply ask to build a proper branch, not be part of member at large, but be part of a color group. And then we can sit down and talk with the Academy and say, hey, maybe we don't deserve a full award. I don't know. should we put with the photographic team, like, I don't know, director of photography, Lubetsky, leading colorist, Steve Scott. I think Steve did it, right? I don't remember. Just to say, hey, we are part of this process, and it will take time. I mean, my mental time schedule is probably 15 to 20 years. It will take time, and it will have a lot of bumps, along the road, a lot of objections. I mean, one thing that I asked a few months ago is people actually, I want objection to a colorist receiving an Academy Award or a recognition from the Academy in that sense. Because from the objection, you can understand, do you even qualify, or we are just full of ourselves? Because we have to look ourselves in the eye and say, are we just full of ourselves? We think we have this big role and then we don't.
Mm.
So, it's a reality check for me.
Mm.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And I think it is a slow process. 15, I think it's 12 to 15 members in the Academy already, colorists.
Yeah.
It's a good start. And I think you can act as sponsors now, can you, Walter?
Yes, I already sponsor actually a color science this year. Joseph Slomka of Photochem. We think and that color science too are part of our group. We build together looks. We help the production to bring a creative intent to the screen. So this year my sponsor was Joseph. But what I want to try to avoid is us sponsoring each other, for the simple reason that you have a much more prestige if a director of photography sponsor you.
I see.
Otherwise, we're just ourselves making our little niche with, sponsoring, and today is 2, next year we're 4, and then we're 8. No.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
We want, especially director of photography, acknowledge our contribution and having them invite us into the Academy as member. That will be my idea.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent point. Getting a wider set of sponsors is going to help the cause in the long run. I just want to add one more thing too, because the hoping for an Academy Award is quite a long way off, I think. The CSI has looked at it running awards themselves. It's a big ask, but fortunately, another organization, the ICG, has set up a colorist awards ceremony just for color. It does involve DPs because they are so much a part of what we do. I'm going to put the link in chat. There's about 18 days left to register for the 2020 awards. And so CSI voted to support this in the absence of anything else. I know the HPA also do some good colorist awards as well. Guys, are you ready to take some questions?
Yeah, I was just
actually,
on the chat. Yeah.
I saw in the chat 4 or 5 people asking us, will our job be obsolete because AI is taking over? And I hope Skynet arrived before AI in color, so we're all dead before that happened. It's a very difficult answer, really difficult answer, because I have the presumption to say no, we are irreplaceable, but I need to be realistic and say yes, it is possible. And it's really a touchy subject. I mean, do we want to say that we humans are superior to AI and we have that sensitivity that will make an image perfect in its imperfection, and that's art, versus an AI where you match this look, this is a camera, please match it, do this tweak on all the shot, we're done. We at the end probably arrive at a very similar result. There's a point where in color, you're not making an image better, you're just making an image different. And if the eye arrive at the point where the image is not better or worse, but just different, then yes, it can substitute us and we will lose our job, and it sucks. But a lot of people lose job to automation, and we should be prepared to that too.
I have a little bit to say about that. I've been working with Dotto on his AI program, the Color Lab. And when I first heard about it, I was upset. And I went to Dotto and said, are you trying to unseat us colorists? Are you trying to replace us? Because my personal feeling is, and this is what I told him, is a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I said, I think as smart as computers are, there's that human emotional element that I don't think computers right now, maybe in 50 years, 100 years, they can, but not right now, they can't duplicate the human emotion. And there's things that sometimes we do that's not mathematical. It's just a feeling.
A feeling, yeah.
Maybe your client likes something that's his yellow, his version of yellow is an off yellow, whereas the AI would want to pick something that's dead center yellow. So Dotto agreed with me. He said, Mark, I'm not trying. He agreed with me and said, yes, I don't think that computers are there yet either. And we're not trying to unseat the colorists. We're trying to build tools that are mundane tasks you don't want to do anyway, like tracking. And like I said, matching, things like that, so you can get to the creative grade. And that's what interests me about it. But I must say, in my testing of the AI, right now, I'm still liking my method of matching. Now, I'm sure it's going to get better and better. But at this point, I'm not as impressed with the matching that it's trying to do for me. And I find it's more laborious to have it try to match this whole scene when I could have just done it quicker. At this point, again, I'm sure it's my lack of knowledge too on how to
will take time. Will take time. I mean, let me ask you a question. In the result panel, you saw the big panel. I mean, it's been there for a while. You have 25 years of experience, and at least for 10 years, there is one button called autocolor. How many times you use it?
I don't use it very often. As a joke, I love to press it to see what it would do. And I got to tell you, 7 times out of 10, it gets it way wrong. Or it puts or if it gets it close, it contrasts it so much, it actually crushes my blacks and causes artifacts that I'm a little more genteel about how I would add that contrast. So sometimes I feel it's a little harsh as well in its decisions. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on the auto. I kind of laugh at it.
I think there's 2 things there. I think first of all, AI in our lifetime anyway, is never going to be more than a tool that we use. AI can write music, but it's really elevator music. And if you want the true art where you're adding some value to the emotion and the concept, then I don't think AI can do that in our lifetimes. But as a matching tool, it may get there.
But then, Kevin, we go down to the path, what we define as art. Are the movie we do art, or is just a product? And conversely, even Michelangelo, when he painted the Sistine Chapel, was a job. He was doing a job. He didn't just start and say, oh, I'm going to paint this one for 2 fucking years and somebody will pay me for it. No, it was a job. And he probably want to paint, I don't know, bucolic images of naked people in the prairie, and he had to do, biblical nudes. So yes, it was art, but it was also a product. We do that. We have to remember, not all the movie we do, the majority of movie we do, they have good story, but they're not art in the art sense of things.
Yeah,
I'm a pessimist on that.
Yeah, I'm always trying to push the art side of it. I'm an artist before I'm a technologist. I love technology and I understand it and I'm getting better at it, but I am an artist first in my world.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, in my case, I only take jobs where there is some art value. The jobs that are, like you say, machined out, I think that there are too many people doing that already.
Yeah.
You have the privilege to be able to choose.
Well, not all the time. Like you said, there's jobs. Work is work. I try not to look down my nose at any job, but I'm always appreciative when the artistic side is embraced.
And I'm not doing a white or black. It's either art or it's not. I'm talking about degree of this movie has been done just for the beauty of it, instead of doing a story or telling it or just selling a product. I mean, while I really enjoy the big blockbuster, I enjoy working on them. I enjoy the story. I enjoy, going at the movie and watching them. There is an aspect of it that it's a product. I mean,
sure.
It's
but I still
multi-billion-dollar machine, if you wish.
but I'm sure that you still find when you find enjoyment when you're going through and you're adding those small little touches that you know are going to make it sing. It's going to make that skin tone look good. And there's small things. I still find that's the artistry I really enjoy. Because again, artistry doesn't have to be at 11. You can pull back artistry, the orange and teal look. You can do that at Michael Bay 11, or you can pull back to 7 and do an orange and teal. That's a little more subtle and genteel.
Guys,
so again, that's still art.
We are in the last 3 or 4 minutes now. So I'd just like to ask both of you a question that I was asked recently in an interview, and I thought it was a great question. What is the best part of your job? What do you really enjoy most in what you do every single day?
Do you want to go? I go.
I've been letting you go. You go first.
Okay. Yeah. When a client turn around and he can do one or two things, and he either say, you really went above and beyond what was required you to do to help me get my project to the finish line, or, and that's even more satisfactory, you really understood what was my vision and helped me to bring on the screen. Those are the things that make me happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's similar to me too. I enjoy when, again, there was a movie a few years back where I had a little different vision of where I wanted the saturation of the movie to land. Me and the cinematographer were in unison, but the director was used to pulling things back with saturation. He liked desaturated, and he went ahead and let us do it that way just to see it. But then when he was done with it, he said, Mark, I'm sorry, but I think everything needs to be pulled back with saturation. So I ended up embracing what he liked. I learned to love what he loved. And he gave me one of the best compliments I've had in years too, that is, he said, Mark, he goes, I know this wasn't your aesthetic, but you learned how to embrace mine.
Yeah,
aesthetic.
exactly.
And he appreciated that. And that's something I try to take with me from client to client. It's just learn to be able to step outside of what I'm thinking and just learn to love what it is they see in it.
Yeah, well, that happened, the episode that I say about Green Book, after we bring the movie more in the direction, and I did 3 or 4 extra things the director asked me. At one point outside in a conversation when the movie was almost over, he said, thank you for listening to me.
Listening.
Yeah. That is the best suggestion I can give to any young colorist. Listen to your client. It's not your goddamn movie. It's their vision. They have a vision. If they let you do it, then of course you can put yourself in and you can try. But it's not your movie to start with. Understand that. Be humble enough and in a way clever enough to say, go in the mind of somebody else. What's his vision? Can I bring it to the screen?
Yeah, I had a big DP, again, years back, where he said, Mark, I want a gentle warmth, and he left me to it. Well, for some reason that day, I thought I gave him 3 times the warmth, and I thought that looked great. He calls me on the phone, says, thanks for re-envisioning my look. And I realized I upset him, so I went back and I fixed it on my own dime. But I learned a lesson. Listen, he didn't ask for a lot of warmth. He asked for a little. So yeah, very good point. Listen to your client.
Very good. It's time to go on to the next one, but there's just one great question in the chat, which I'd like to ask. Is it possible nowadays, or how does one find a mentor or a mentorship program in this day when so many people are sort of independent? Is there a way to be mentored in color grading nowadays?
Can I take this one real quick, Walter? And I'll let you.
Yeah, of course.
I get asked via email or Instagram instant messengers all the time from people around the world asking if they can be my assistant. And as much as I would love to help them in that way, I just don't work that way because I'm mobile. I'm at different post houses. So I just don't do that. I wish I could, because I benefited from having a mentor. I had several mentors. I mean, I learned from Dave Hussey. I learned from Stephen Nakamura. I learned from many people. So it is a benefit. So if they can just find a way to get into a post house that has some established colorists, I say, try to get on their best side and work alongside someone like that at a post house.
Absolutely. We have the same problem. Company 3 doesn't quite have mentorship program. We are thinking about it. The problem is, I'm in the room with a client. I'm serving the client. I have no time to serve somebody next to me. And if I have a mentor, I want to serve it. I have now new mentorship from the academy. This is my second year to mentorship somebody from the academy that I will meet her virtually, I guess, in this coming week. And I'm always open. If you ask me a question, I mean, I'm in internet. It's not difficult to find me. I'll try to answer as best as I can and as detailed as I can. I've been invited several times to do master classes between here or Italy or the university. I'll do it because I'll try as best as I can to give you at least an insight on what I do, how I do it. If CSI want to do, a collection of master class where me, Mark, Todd, anybody wants to spend, half an hour show what we do, how we do it. I think it's a great thing. Let's just pretend to make a class where colorists can just join and say, we want to see what you do and how to do it. Why not?
Sure, that's great. Listen, thanks, guys. That is all we've got time for. I really appreciate your frank answers. Great questions between the two of you. And great to see you both on the internet so much as well. That's really cool.
The drink now.
If you're around tomorrow, in the last sort of half an hour, we'll be certainly drinking a little bit. If you boys are around, we might bring you up and we'll have a little chat and have a real drink tomorrow afternoon. Cheers.
Sounds good. Cheers. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.